Hey everyone, welcome back. Let's get it. Let's talk day 2 action in the Sweet 16 TGIF. It's a great 4-game slate we have tonight. Yesterday delivered, I think, by all accounts. Finally got an overtime game. I'm going to recap a little bit of that action, give you guys some brief thoughts, as well as we're going to get into the handicapping of these 4 games tonight. As always, my best bets, and we will talk kind of what we have coming up the road as well in the Elite Eight and beyond. So let's get going. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you found me here. We do talk sports every single day, betting. If you have not subscribed, make sure you do that. Also, smash that like button. That's the least you guys can do. It's completely free to do. All you have to do if you're watching along, following along, and if I've ever led you in the direction of cashing a ticket, always hit that like button, and let's get down into business. Okay, we are going to use OUTLIER to kind of break these games down. Like I said, 4-game slate. Let's briefly kind of recap yesterday. Florida took care of business. I think that was an impressive win, taking down Maryland. Florida, they had to deal with an injury early, weathering that storm, and then coming out of halftime and really putting the juice down on Maryland as they outscored the Terrapins by 14 in the second half. Almost 50 points they put up in the second half. That's kind of why I have Florida as my national champion. So that's kind of a hum-ho kind of win cover for the Gators. Cash that ticket. Also, Duke, not too happy about that. If you would have told me that Duke scored 100 points and had a 15-point lead in the second half, I would have told you that Arizona had no shot in hell to cover that bet. But the final 193 in favor of the Blue Devils. They win, they advance, but they did not get it done in terms of the ATS. And that's, you got to just kind of, go with the punches on that one. A little backdoor there for the Wildcats, okay? Also, BYU Alabama. I think that delivered for my liking. I was one of the bettors that did favor Alabama laying it. I know it's chalky, but hey, the numbers are the numbers. I think BYU did a fatal flaw. Okay, I think they made a horrible, horrible mistake by trying to match Alabama's style. I know they put up 88. Alabama plays no defense, but you get that car moving. It's kind of get off the tracks because Alabama setting the record for 3-pointers in college basketball. I mean, it was just absolutely phenomenal to see what they were able to do. Mark Sears definitely delivered 34 and 8 on the evening. In Alabama, team total over, spread, cover, and our official best bet we had. My favorite bet of the day was the over in BYU Alabama, going over to 175.5. So that was one that delivered. It's going to be interesting to see the next game for Alabama. Kind of navigating my bracket. There's a lot of things that are happening right now that are setting up nice. So I think tonight really does set the table. I'd like to see, Alabama kind of get a better shake at it because I do have Houston and Florida in my final 2. So I'm going to need some help kind of getting that one. I think there's some matchup concerns that I have. So there are some optimal scenarios where I have to root for in my bracket, full disclosure. And then Texas Tech, okay? I did take some Red Raider money live at a very nice plus price in the second half when they were down pretty good. They were down 16, one of the biggest comebacks that we've seen. It was a historic night. Tip of the cap to Arkansas, though. Great run. It's over, but, Calipari and company, you kind of have to just look at what the handicap was, right? They didn't shoot the 3-ball in the second half the way they did in the first half, and then, obviously giving up 41 points to Texas Tech. That's kind of how you get yourself in an overtime scenario. So first OT game that we've gotten in this tournament. So a lot of people cash tickets on that as well. Red Raiders take down the Hogs 85-83. Did not cover. Okay, let's get into the games tonight. We are going to use OUTLIER, like I said. If you want to check them out, 7-day free trial, links down below. Ole Miss, Michigan State. I'm just going to come out with it. My favorite bet of the evening. We're taking Sparty. This is where I laid 3 with them a little bit earlier on in the week. 3.5 is the number now. If you want to buy that half point, shop around. I don't know if it's going to be kind of important, but it's just where I'm at. All right. So Sparty -3. That's kind of where I look at Michigan State. Izzo, he's going to have his guys ready to play. I think that this layoffs does help the Spartans like it did within Florida. A lot of people think they're a second half team. I don't really, quite frankly, care. I think that the Ole Miss head coach is one of the most underrated coaches in college basketball. And, it's similar to the Arkansas scenario. Okay. You got to trust the numbers. I think this is a great spot for Michigan State. Love it. Probably my favorite bet of the evening is taking Michigan State -3, okay? And that's simply put. If Michigan State hits their threes, what they do exceedingly well is they guard the perimeter. They guard, kind of the mid-range exceedingly well. And Ole Miss has been doing that at a overachieving pace, okay? I just think that it's something a couple days off. I don't think they shoot the three ball like they've been doing. I think Michigan State's going to stop that. And then in turn, they get the cover. But not only the cover, Michigan State to the under has been very profitable. So I do have a lean towards Michigan State going under the 144 if you want to find that out in the market. Okay. Next bet, Kentucky and Tennessee. That's where we look at the Wildcats and the Volunteers matching up for the third time in this college basketball season. Kentucky was able to get the win and the cover in the previous two matchups. Rick Barnes and company, I think this is something where I would favor kind of taking the 4.5 with Kentucky. I think that's the value, but my best bet for this game, we're going to go under 145, okay? 145 on the game. Take it. That is kind of where I look for the possessions to be at a minimal. I think that the defense is going to be there. Tennessee is very good defensively, and that's kind of where my handicap is within this game. I'm on the under. I think that this game, the winner of this game gets in the 70s. The losers will be in the high 60s, and that's just kind of how I feel about it. So with that being said, I think the number's way too high. Go under 145 as a best bet, Kentucky and Tennessee. Okay, Michigan and Auburn. This is a game, full disclosure, I'm going to stay away from it. Auburn, for my money, is the worst one seed in the tournament. Going against Michigan, where it's all been about the luck for the Wolverines. Okay. Texas A&M, they were up 10 in the second half against Michigan. Obviously, they came back, they won. UC San Diego, same kind of scenario. They were able to win and hold them off late. But Michigan has been that team that people are backing, and now you get almost 9 points. It's really going to kind of leave it open for the Wolverines here, but it would not shock me if Auburn kind of put their foot down on the gas pedal and really broke out in this game. I think Johnny Broome, great story coming over to the Tigers, but I think that there's something to be said about kind of Michigan and what Auburn does. He struggles against defenders with size, and they have those twin towers down there for the Wolverines. I know it's a lot of points, kind of lean with that, taking Michigan, but I'm going to stay away from this game, although I would end up taking the +9 for the Wolverines in the spot, okay? Last game on the card, Purdue and Houston. This is a game where it's going to be quite interesting, in my opinion. Full disclosure, though, I think that you have to kind of make a mention of where this game is going to be played in Lucas Oil Stadium. I think it's kind of a slap in the face a little bit to the tournament committee. Purdue basically gets a home game, okay? But I think that they are playing in a football stadium. I think that the sight lines are going to be off. I just truly believe in that. I think there's going to be a little bit of a regression here across the board. Look at Purdue and their route that they had to take. McNeese and High Point, kind of very favorable scheduling. But if you look at that 76-62 win against McNeese, you look at 75-73 High Point. Those are games that, Purdue won, but it's something where they should have, if they were actually a real good team, I think they're a little bit fake, personally. I think Houston gets a cover here. I know it's not popular, but if you want to lay 8 points with Houston, Houston taking the Cougars -8 in this spot, I kind of like that quite a bit. I think that this is a different Houston Cougars team. I think Kelvin Sampson's going to have his guys motivated. They're fresh. They play great defense. That's always been their mantra. But this year's different. They shoot the three ball. They got the #1 3-point percentage in the country. They don't shoot threes on volume, but in terms of efficiency, it's definitely there. I worry about kind of the sight lines within a football stadium, if that's going to be an issue. But my handicap in this game, I'm going with the Cougars -8 as an official play. Okay, so kind of just fading Purdue. As I do have Houston advancing. I think they get this one done with margin. So those are my best bets, the 3 bets on the card. We'll do a quick recap. Before we do that, guys, like I said, make sure you hit that like button, hit that follow button, and please subscribe here on YouTube. We will be going with Michigan State -3, under 145, Tennessee, Kentucky, and laying the 8 points with Houston as my 3 official plays here on the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't done so, also check out our free Discord. We have links down below for that. Good luck with your picks. Enjoy it. Have a great Friday, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow. Cheers.